Welcome to The Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. From the latest NBA news to the gridiron and beyond, we are diving deep into the headlines that matter most to you. Today's show is proudly brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, your local experts in digital marketing and audience connection. Before we break the huddle, do me a huge favor. Head over to YouTube and subscribe to The Answer Now TV. Don't miss a single highlight, interview, or heated debate. The clock is ticking, and the game is on. Let's go.
Hey, good Sunday morning, sports fans. Rudy Campos Jr. for the Sports Answer. Shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. You need that brand. You got that brand. You need it marketed. You need it to be number one, the top of the list, the MVP of all brands out there. You contact Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Or if you want to go to their website, check them out there, salemsurround.com/San Antonio, for all your digital marketing needs. We've got an exciting show today. We always do. But we've got a NBA title contender on the ropes, looking like they're about to get bounced. We've also got another NBA Finals contender on the ropes. They're not yet quite getting bounced, but they haven't looked very good. And then we've also got your San Antonio Spurs, who, despite not having Wemby, pulled through in Game 3 in Portland. We're going to get into all that, your NBA playoff coverage. Absolutely the best here on the Sports Answer. You've got some sports questions as well. We've got some sports answers. One of the questions was on the NBA unwritten rule. How do we feel about that? Last night you saw Joker and McDaniels get into it at the end of the game. We'll break that down here. I got probably a difference of opinion when it comes to everybody out there. Of course, I get the unwritten rules, but they just really don't appeal to me at all. We'll get into that here later on, as well as the NFL draft coverage. We'll get into some teams. Can you believe that three of the worst teams that, lately in NFL football had probably the best draft out of everybody in the draft? Another team that a lot of y'all tune in for is the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, the Cowboys get a name, man. They had a pretty decent draft as well. We're going to get into all that NFL draft coverage as well as the NBA coverage for you guys here. Let's kick it off with some draft coverage. NFL draft just happened. Fernando Mendoza went number 1, David Bailey 2, Arvell Reese 3. How did your team do? We'll see if we can get it here, answer here on the Sports Answer. All right, before we get into some grades here on the NFL draft, this is the first round of the latest NFL draft. And again, as you see, Fernando Mendoza did go number 1. No surprise there. NFL quarterbacks coming into the draft this year, I was not really high on NFL quarterbacks this season. Fernando Mendoza was the obvious choice at number 1 for the Raiders. And again, Mendoza's not going to wow you with a lot of Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick type of talent. Does he have, the accuracy and, the precise passing of Tom Brady or Joe Montana? Mendoza, he's kind of a mix of a lot of people. You're not getting the ultimate athlete. You're not getting the ultimate quarterback. You're getting a quarterback who knows how to win, who doesn't turn the ball over in the red zone. He just makes really good decisions. Now, we're not trying to, saying he's not going to be a great NFL quarterback. I mean, when you've got Tom Brady right behind you, the potential for you to be a great NFL quarterback is there. But as of right now, Mendoza, we compared him this past Friday on the Friday Drive with myself and Derek Irvin on the Sports Answer. We compared Mendoza to a lot of different guys. Where do we see his ceiling? Where do we see where he's really going to fall at? And, I think when you look at it overall, I mean, I can see him being a quarterback similar to Phillip Rivers, kind of, and people say, well, he's a game, he's just a game controller. He just basically is there. He's going to get you the touchdown. He's going to get you the yards passing. He's going to get everything like that. I know Phillip Rivers is one of the name that came up, but we're not basing it off of success. We're basing it basically just like off of mechanics, is what it is. So we're not basing it off of success. I think he's going to have a whole lot of success in the NFL, especially the way the Raiders have been able to build around him and get a team around him. I think he's going to have some success this season. Now, full disclosure, Kirk Cousins is going to start the first part of the season, according to the coaching staff at the Raiders facility. Kirk Cousins will probably start the first 6 games of the year. Now, Mendoza, when he comes in, is he going to be ready? I believe he's going to be ready. He may be able to take control of the reins earlier from Kirk Cousins, but going back to what we said, Mendoza, where does he fall in? Does he get to, maybe that Matthew Stafford, maybe it could be just Jared Goff. I mean, gets you good enough to a Super Bowl. Does he win the Super Bowl? That's the thing. It's so hard to judge Mendoza. I do not have extremely high expectations of Mendoza. But then again, we don't have a lot of high expectations of a lot of quarterbacks that come into the NFL. For a while there, Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen were, elite guys. Mitch Trubisky was taken well before Patrick Mahomes. We figured Patrick Mahomes coming out of the air raid offense at Texas Tech was, well, is he going to be able to translate to the NFL? The biggest thing when it comes to quarterbacks isn't exactly where they go in the draft. It's who's going to be developing them once they get drafted. There are some quarterbacks that were taken late in this draft who I feel could potentially be good down the road. Why? Because they have coaching staffs that can develop them into great NFL quarterbacks. Fernando Mendoza, yes, he's got a good coaching staff right there, but he's also got a good supporting staff in Tom Brady. Mendoza has the opportunity to be an NFL quarterback drafted number 1 to make a big impact. There's not been a lot of quarterbacks drafted 1 that have come in and made, immediate results, big impacts. I mean, Peyton Manning struggled his first season as a quarterback. Took him a while to become, elite Peyton. We shall see what happens with Fernando Mendoza. But again, this year's quarterback class was not the greatest for me. I didn't have this quarterback class ranked high. Let's drop down a few picks to the Rams when they took Ty Simpson at 13. I did not like that pick for the Rams, period. They had a lot of other needs. You're talking about a Rams who, were able to make a deal with the Falcons to get that 13th pick last season. They made that deal. They were set up to take a damn good player at 13. You could have gone and got a Mekhi Lemon because the Rams did need a receiver. I mean, if you really needed, you could have gone even a tight end. You could have got another offensive tackle, a guard. I mean, there was a lot of other guys out there that you definitely could have got that could have made an impact right away for the Rams. Now, could the Rams have traded down if possible to get Ty Simpson later? I believe so. I really do. But then there's one question that came up, and that is, okay, you can really only trade one spot down to Baltimore. Did Baltimore really want to trade up to pay that little bit of extra money for the offensive guard that they got in Ione? Why? Because sitting at 16 is the New York Jets, a team that did like and did want to draft Ty Simpson. So if you go below that 16, you miss out on Ty Simpson. You miss out on the guy that you want. So looking at it from that perspective, I can understand why the Rams drafted Ty Simpson at 13. Makes sense. You got to take him. You got to take him. You don't hope that he's there later in the draft in the first round if you trade down. You don't hope that he's there in the second round. But it was a reach by everybody that saw the draft and that was covering it. It was a big reach until you realize 2 picks later is sitting the New York Jets. I know Sean McVay did not like that pick. I feel like he did not like that pick at all. I understand it. But when you have Matthew Stafford, who probably I feel has maybe 2 to 3 years, good 2 to 3 years left, reminds me of the Michael Penix deal when they signed Kirk Cousins to that huge deal in Atlanta, and then they go and draft Michael Penix in the first round. Could not understand it. Why? You could have got a quarterback later on in the draft. Spencer Rattler was there way later in that draft. So was it a reach? Yes. Do I understand it? Yes. I understand why. You don't want him to fall to the Jets at 16, where the Jets were more than likely going to take him. Or let's not forget, I mean, the Steelers were on the clock later on at 21. So if you fall below one of those two teams, the chances of them getting Ty Simpson are very, very good. So you have your backup, you have your potential Matthew Stafford replacement for when he does retire. I hope it works out for the Rams. They didn't really get one of my top grades here in the NFL draft. We've also seen guys like Jeremiah Love go at number 3. He's going to get paid by the Cardinals, and he's going to get paid dearly. He's going to make a lot more than a lot of NFL running backs currently in the league. Was that a big move for Arizona? You just went after the big play guy at 3. Personally, I'm trading down if I'm Arizona. I'm getting more picks. You could have easily, more than likely, traded with Dallas, got, Dallas at 12, possibly. You could have probably even asked for Dallas's 12 and 20. Maybe Jerry would have gone for that. I didn't like Jeremiah Love at 3. I get it. The Cardinals need help everywhere on that team. So you go with the most explosive player, the one that's going to help sell a lot of tickets. Totally understand it. But that was kind of a reach. Am I sold on David Bailey at 2? I'm a little bit sold on him. I love what David Bailey did at Texas Tech, but I still think Arvell Reese was the guy right there. And seeing him dropped all the way to number 5, oof, Giants got a good one. I really like the Giants draft in this first round. Giants really had a good one. Recapping the draft here, let's get into some grades. I told you 3 teams. We're talking the Browns, we're talking the Raiders, and we are also talking about the Jets. Those 3 teams that have struggled all past few years, those guys have won the NFL draft. Let's take a look at the Cleveland Browns right now. So you go in the first round, you get Spencer Fano at 9. At 24, you go get KC Concepcion, who's regarded as one of the best wide receivers in this draft class. 2 needs automatically filled in Cleveland when it comes to offensive tackle and wide receiver. They hit the second round. I think personally, their second round was better than their first round. Why? They get Denzel Boston, who very underrated receiver. He can be a really big time guy. But then they go and get Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo, the safety. One of the better safeties in this draft. My God. I mean, those first 4 picks are un-Brown-like. It was as if Kevin Costner was drafting this team for the Browns this year, making all the right picks and all the right moves. The Browns getting those first 4 picks immediately make a huge impact. There is one massive question here, and that is the quarterback situation. Dylan Gabriel didn't work out. I mean, I think he could eventually. Everybody is on the Shedeur Sanders hype. He had a decent game to end the season. Still not buying the Shedeur talk. But then you have Deshaun Watson, who's still under contract, who's still on the team, who is back this season. If I'm the Browns, I understand the whole situation with Deshaun, but if he's healthy, I'm starting Deshaun Watson. When Deshaun Watson was playing, didn't have all the other stuff going on and didn't, have the injuries, Deshaun Watson was starting to be one of the elite guys in the NFL. Time away from the game sometimes makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe he's got a renewed love for the NFL game. If that happens and Deshaun does get back to even a scratchable surface of elite at the quarterback position, Cleveland could be a team to reckon with. They could be a team. Would they be a contender? No. They would definitely get more wins. But when you've got an offensive line, because they also added Austin Barber out of Florida, loving that move. They did draft the center Brailsford out of Arkansas, or I'm sorry, Alabama. They worked. They put in the work this past weekend when it comes to the NFL draft. Shout out to Cleveland, because even if Deshaun starts and he's even close to what he used to be, Cleveland can be scary. I'm loving the Concepcion and the Boston pick. Those two guys, either side of the ball, that's going to make Cleveland a top contender pretty soon in the NFL. The Raiders, I mean, we talked about Mendoza. They get another A for me. The Raiders, you get Mendoza. I love that. Where I give them a huge grade on is they filled out a lot of needs. They got Stokes in round 2, Zune in round 3. I love Zune, the center from Texas A&M. They're building that offensive line. A couple of the guys that I really like, that I really, really did like, in the 4th round, they took Jermon McCoy. Jermon McCoy, I had potentially as the best cornerback in this draft. I understand the injuries. I understand it's going to take time to get back into the game. But if Jermon McCoy gets back to the way that he was, you are talking about one of the ultimate steals in this draft in round 4 by the Raiders. Now, let's not forget the Raiders made a ton of moves in the offseason. They did get Kirk Cousins. They signed Tyler Lindenbaum as the new center. He's going to be the anchor for that offensive line. They already have Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. You know, they've got some receivers on the board or on the team already in Trey Tucker. They got Jalen Naylor. I mean, they've got a whole lot of great players in Vegas right now. Guys that they drafted this year, even their 7th round pick, Brandon Cleveland out of NC State. They've got guys that can make a instant impact. The Raiders are building a good team out there. Plus, they still were able to keep Max Crosby. That whole deal went through. So they got Max Crosby still. This is a team that I really feel can start to look up and start to see the light. Shout out to Raiders. Great job on the draft. Loved it. One last bad team that had a good draft, the New York Jets. Let's be Jets, Jets. We still got to get that soundbite. I'm a Falcon fan, Atlanta Falcon fan, love my Falcons. I'm a closet Jets fan. I've always been a closet Jets fan. I don't know why. I just love the Jets. My dad liked Joe Namath, so he always talked about Broadway Joe. My dad grew up a Cowboy fan. He loved the Cowboys, but like he said, you know, I always loved watching Broadway Joe play football. And, you know, I could say he was probably a closet Jet fan as well. The one thing I didn't like about the Jets was the 2nd pick. I would have taken Arvell Reese, but they believe in David Bailey. David Bailey works out. I mean, there you go. You got the edge guy that you needed. In the 1st round, they go Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. I loved Omar Cooper Jr. at 30. Omar Cooper Jr. alongside Garrett Wilson. Can't say it's chef's kiss, but it's difference making right away. Right away. Sadiq, I like that move. You know, he's a very athletic tight end, can do a lot of stuff, can make life easier for Geno Smith. But where did the Jets really win the draft? A 4th round pick of Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik at one point was regarded before this past college football season, as a top 10 pick potential in this draft. Clemson struggled this season. They struggled mightily. You could put some blame on Cade Klubnik. You could put some blame on Dabo Sweeney. Blame can go around for the entire team. You can't just put it all on Cade. So when you've got a guy who is potentially a top 10 pick before the college football season, and you go and get him in the 4th round, 110th pick. That's massive. That's massive because you've got Geno Smith. You don't have a quarterback that is, that you're looking, well, who are we going to build around? I think Brady Cook is their backup. You've got Geno, you got Clay Klubnik now. Would it shock you if Cade Klubnik ends up being a starter towards the end of the year? Wouldn't shock me. Would not shock me at all. Jets did a good job. Let's get into the Cowboys. I mean, do I really have to praise the Cowboys? Do I really have to? Yeah, I really have to, Cowboy fans. Congratulations. They did good, with the exception of I have a problem with Malachi Lawrence. I did have problems with it. But guess what? I'm kind of falling for the Malachi Lawrence move. They traded down for it. So I kind of understand it now. I will say Caleb Downs, best player in the draft, the most athletic player in the draft. A need that the Cowboys has been desperately looking for a long time. Cowboys get beat over the top. They are one of the worst teams when it comes to giving up passing touchdowns. Well, now Caleb Downs, as certain wide receivers in the NFC East did not like that move. They understand Caleb Downs is going to be a problem. Cowboys won that. Then the trade from they trade down to get Malachi Lawrence. Now, for the entirety of the draft, had Malachi Lawrence as a day 2 guy. And again, Derek Irvin on the Friday drive basically said, well, Rudy, if you got a guy you want, you got to get him, because then you risk of him going to another team, not being there when you draft again. I understood it. So the Malachi Lawrence, it's funny, I compared it to remember the Marcus Spears and Andre Ware draft. You got an unknown guy coming in, and it's like, oh, is it good? They worked out for the most part. So could it work out this time? It potentially could. He's got a really high motor. I just felt it was a little too high for him at 23. But again, they take a chance. You were hoping that he's there. You would hope maybe he's there later on in the draft. He's not going to be there. I would have taken a guy like Keldrick Falk over him. But again, Cowboys due diligence. They went out and got Malachi Lawrence. They believe in him. I started to look at more tape. I looked at more tape after the fact to see if I missed something. There was a few things that I did miss on Malachi Lawrence. I can potentially say, okay, I could have had him in late first round instead of just a second round guy. I would have had him late first round. So the draft position, I'm okay with the Dallas Cowboys. What I do love about the Dallas is that when they got into the 4th round, they actually got LT Overton out of Alabama, another edge guy. Another guy, LT Overton was, again, he could see it potentially go into that 2nd, 3rd round. He dropped to the 4th. Cowboys took him. Okay, I love it. I really do love it. Jyshawn Barham, that's another guy that they were able to get in the 3rd round. Another edge out of Michigan. Cowboys went massive defense. They rebuilt this defense. They are, they're putting a new face on the defensive side of things here. And I'm behind it. Loving it. What are the teams out there that you feel maybe had a really good draft? Drop those comments in the comment section here. What team do you feel had a good draft? What team do you feel had the worst draft? For the most part, I felt this draft was pretty good. I felt a lot of the teams got a lot of talent in this draft to help them right away. I'm all for it. I love it. I think the Tennessee Titans, they had a really good draft, their first couple of picks. Cardinal Tate at wide receiver. Again, I think that was a little bit of a reach, at that position, going to Arvell Reese right there, but they got Keldrick Falk at the end of the 1st round. Day 2, they ended up getting Anthony Hill Jr., who's one of the better linebackers out of Texas. I love it. I would give Tennessee probably a B minus grade on their draft. They were able to get, I love Nicholas Singleton out of Penn State as a running back. They need running back as well. Fernando Carmona out of Arkansas. That's going to be some more good offensive line help or guard help right there for them. So, like what they did. Was there really a loser in this NFL draft? I don't think so. I think the 49ers, a lot of people may have said that they were kind of losers in this draft. I don't see that. I think they addressed a lot of needs that they had, and they went probably the best player available in most positions. One team I will highlight that I'm kind of excited to see because they did end up making some moves. You're talking about the New Orleans Saints, man. The New Orleans Saints, who have kind of been teetering on, well, are they that good? Are they going to get any better? What do we feel about the Saints? I mean, they made some good picks, man. I love Jordan Tyson at number 8, go right alongside um Chris Olave. You've got Tyler Shuck, who's, I mean, let's really put up some really good numbers. Christian Miller in that second round out of Georgia. They were able to get, Bryce Lance. I love Bryce Lance. If you guys have been following me for a while, especially on social media, big Bryce Lance guy. And they got him in the 4th round. Another big wide receiver, another guy that's going to be a red zone guy for Tyler Shuck. So you are putting Tyson, Bryce Lance, Chris Olave. You've got a very nice wide receiver room right there. Lorenzo Styles out of Ohio State in the 5th round, safety. I mean, whew, the New Orleans Saints, they are cooking. They are cooking, and they did trade on during the draft. They were able to make a trade for Tyree Wilson. So again, you're adding more debt to that defensive side of the ball. Running back, well, I mean, remember they also signed Travis Etienne in the offseason. So it's looking more like New Orleans is on the way up rather than down. They've got a really good thing building in New Orleans. Be 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 prepared to see the Saints make some noise in New Orleans. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Rudy Campos here for the Sports Answer. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV, hit that subscribe button so you are not left out of anything that we do. You catch a Sports Answer, the Super Sunday show that we're doing today. You can also do, you got the Sports Answer, the Friday Drive, which is on Fridays around 5:30ish. So it's myself and Derek Irvin. We go for almost an hour, hour and a half with you guys over at the station. Don't forget, you can also catch Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia. Every single show that he does is going to be on here at Answer Now TV. So be sure he ends up going live sometimes as well to do some post-game reaction for the Spurs game. So you don't want to miss it. He did his first one after the latest Portland Spurs game. It was great. It was great. Appreciate everybody that joined us here. It's going to do some NBA playoff or NBA talk. We'll do some NBA talk here. All right, shout out to Salem's around 210-526-3635. So want to hit this up a little bit. We talked about it on the Friday Drive show. Devin Booker, you can see the comment there on the board and the graphic. And it comes down. Every team has had complaints about OKC and the foul baiting. They allow OKC to play physical, but they don't allow the other team to play physical. And we talked about it, myself and Derek said, you got to quit complaining. You got to quit complaining. You've got to play and match the same energy. And I've told Derek, well, I mean, seems like they do, but they get called for more fouls when they match OKC's energy. Now, I understand OKC is going to OKC until they stop letting them get away with it. Every player, no matter if it's Oklahoma City, Orlando, Phoenix, San Antonio, every player is going to take advantage of every opportunity given until they get caught. Now, I'm a firm believer that the NBA can't just say, well, we're going to start calling it differently now, because then they would admit to guilt. I'm a firm believer of that. But what do you guys think out there? If Phoenix plays physical with OKC, Should they let it go? Should they swallow the whistle the way that they do with Oklahoma City? He brought up a point. Derek brought up a point. There's one team that has matched Oklahoma City in physicality and hasn't been afraid to be physical with them, and that is San Antonio. And that's why San Antonio holds the season series lead 3-1 over Oklahoma City. He's on to something there. Maybe they are not playing as physical as they think that they are. We have to go back and look at games. I mean, yeah. You're expecting to get bailed out by the refs when playing against OKC. OKC is getting bailed out by the refs. You just got to be more physical. Trust me, I don't like that Lou Dort gets away with a lot of crap. I don't like that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that he pushes off with his left arm and it's obvious and clear as day that he does. I don't like that at all. I'm not a fan of it. I hate it. It's not basketball. The flopping is not basketball. Chet Holmgren with the pump fake and then leaning off to the left and up a little bit so he can draw the foul. I don't like it. That's not basketball. But what can you do? The NBA is going to call it one way. The refs are going to call it one way. I think now it's less of, like Derek said, less complaining, more playing. What do you guys think out there when it comes to that rule? Speaking of rules, the NBA unwritten rule. Last night, Minnesota won again, up a 3-1 lead on Denver. Dante DiVincenzo out for the year. Just got the alert right now that Anthony Edwards is going to miss multiple weeks due to a left knee injury. It didn't matter. You figured Edwards gone, DiVincenzo gone, the backcourt for Minnesota gone. Denver should probably roll into this game right now, get the victory, get back to Denver, and take control of the series. No. Delmunzo went for 40. He's been killing the Nuggets. Rudy Gobert has been making it extremely difficult for Joker. Jaden McDaniels talked his talk and he's walking his walk. Denver ended up losing that game last night. 112-96. Not even close. Not even close. I had Denver winning the NBA title. Like I said, before preseason even kicked off, before training camp kicked off, we gave our predictions and I had Denver winning the title. I can't see that happening now. Denver just looks beat. They look beat bad. But towards the end of the game, you saw Jaden McDaniels, basically Jamal Murray took a jump shot, missed. Minnesota got the rebound, threw it down to McDaniels. The idea was to run the clock out. He ended up going for a layup, scored a point. As soon as he did, Nikola Jokic ran over to him, approached him. Hostile? I don't know. I mean, you could say it was a hostile act. Jaden McDaniels and him got into it. Bench clearing brawl? No. But I do say that if players did come off the bench, the league needs to look at that. I did have a guy on X come at me and say, no, you're wrong. They were still on their bench. Well, they were still on their bench side, but you still cannot come off the bench as a player who is on the bench. It's going to be interesting to see what the league does. Does the league suspend Joker? Do they suspend McDaniels? I mean, what's going to happen here? But when it comes to unwritten rules of the NBA, yeah, you don't want to show up a team. You don't want to show up a ref. You don't want to show up a team by going to score a basket. You know, you've already won the game. What's the whole point of going to get an extra rebound or an extra point, or the Ricky Davis situation where I'm going to throw the ball off of my opponent's or off of my basket, opponent's basket, and that way I can get a rebound for a triple double. You hear a lot of unwritten rules, and you know, a person who has played the game before, I understand the unwritten rules, but I also understand that you play till the buzzer sounds. That's the way I was coached. No matter if you're up big, if you're losing by a lot, doesn't matter. You play until the buzzer sounds. So if you don't want a player to score on you, then stop him. Stop him. And if you're not going to stop him, let it go. Give him the points. Who gives a crap? You got beat. I understand it hurts. It stings. This isn't the first time we've seen players get upset because another guy goes and gets a layup. Lance Stevenson against, I believe it was Toronto. That's one of the more notable ones. There was one, who was it? It was in Cleveland when LeBron was there. There was another guy, Dario Saric, went and got a dunk against Philadelphia. Against the Cavaliers. He got approached. Everybody got all hostile. It's fake anger. If you're angry, you would have done this during the game when you're losing big. Take that flagrant foul. Why are you going to wait till the game's over and then make a big scene of it? You didn't attempt. You did not attempt to stop him from scoring. You don't want a person to score? Stop him. If you don't have the energy to run back and you see Jaden McDaniels or Rudy Gobert, whoever, go and get a dunk, an electrifying dunk to end the game, big deal. Was that going to make any difference? No. Are you trying to incite a fight to hopefully draw suspensions? Okay, possibly. There are mental sides of things on unwritten rules. But when it comes to why are you scoring a basket? Why are you doing this? You already won the game. That's disrespectful. Who cares about the disrespect? Disrespect is the way players are playing the game today. I'm taking 10 steps before shooting. I don't have to dribble the ball. I don't have to keep my palm on top of the ball. I can carry the ball. I can flop. I can foul bait. I can do all this. That is more disrespectful than these unwritten rules. The unwritten rules, I get it. They're in sports. They're in the NFL. You don't want to run up the score. You got stuff in baseball. You don't want to hot dog and show off show up against the pitcher off a home run or whatever. You've got unwritten rules everywhere. But again, NBA-wise, who cares? Let him score. You didn't stop him. If you knew the game was over, you're not going to score, 14 points in the last 12 seconds of a game. The last 8 seconds of a game or so. So run out the ball. Just hold the ball. Let it run out the clock. If you're afraid that they're going to score the basket, if you don't run out the clock and you take a jump shot, they get the rebound, they throw it down. That's at your mercy, man. I'm not a player. I'm not an NBA player. I'm just a jag. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy that likes to cover sports. I'm a guy that likes to, talk to former athletes and has a good relationship with former athletes. We all talk about this. And I get you don't want to show up, guy. I understand that part of the game. But if you don't like it, do something about it. Not after the game. Not after the game. You're getting shown up all game long. Make a statement with 5 minutes left to go in the fourth. Cause a ruckus then. What's the worst that can do? Double technicals. Okay. Maybe you kill the momentum. Greg Popovich was notorious for getting thrown out of a game to try to fire up his team. Didn't happen with 1 second left in the game. I don't really like much of the NBA unwritten rules. I think it's just fake anger a lot of times. You're mad because you lost. Okay. Guess what? Everybody has to lose. There's no ties. This isn't football. There's no ties. You lose, you lose. Move on. Playoff update here. Let's get into some playoff updates. All right, so talking about the NBA playoffs now, you've got a lot here. Let's just say Phoenix is done. Let's just say the Rockets are done. And speaking of the Rockets, I mean, Kevin Durant, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're the legacy that you've built in this series alone. What are you doing, man? I mean, injuries, yeah, they happen. I totally get it. But you got to be out there. Your team was down 2-0. I get you got an ankle injury. Tape it up, give it a run at least, man. Seems like, seems like he's checked out of the season already. Does he want to be there? Probably not. Do we see him moved in the offseason? I don't know, potentially. But he seems checked out. And you know me, I'm not a LeBron guy, but I gave props to LeBron on Friday on the Friday Drive, and I'm gonna do it here on the Sunday morning sports show here. I got to give him props. LeBron James has been playing damn good basketball. Do I dare cut the legs off and let it fall by saying it's against the Rockets? I'm sorry, it's against the Rockets. No, I'm going to give him his props. He's playing good. He's playing good ball. Just because it's against the Rockets, I'm not holding it against him. The Rockets are probably the worst team in the playoffs right now. And it's showing. They fumbled game 3. They had the lead and they fumbled game 3. I've never seen an NBA team do that in the last few seconds of the game. It was horrible. Horrible. Reed Shepherd, I have no idea, bro. LeBron went behind, did the old YMCA move, and just picked it right from behind. I mean, yeah, the Rockets could use a ball handler. They don't have anybody. They don't have a point guard. Should have probably addressed that early in the season. Then, you've got what I believe it was Jabari Smith making a pass that you don't make a pass like that. They just completely fumbled it. Would it shock me if Ime is done at the end of the year? This is embarrassing for Houston. Embarrassing for Houston. Would not shock me at all if Ime is one of the guys that's going to be gone out of Houston. So, yeah, the Thunder series, that's over. They're going to take care of Phoenix, more likely in 4 games. I believe the Lakers, maybe the Rockets get 1 game. Maybe they win game 4. We shall see. But I really think the Lakers and the Thunder are probably going to end up sweeping both series. Then you get into the bottom half of the bracket. You got Nuggets and Timberwolves. Nuggets, I don't know how to describe them. They looked unbeatable towards the end of the season. They looked really good in game 1. They just haven't been able to find their niche in these last couple of games. Minnesota they've definitely made a statement here. Their defense is on another level. Now, again, they are without DiVincenzo for the entire season. And then Anthony Edwards is going to be out when it comes to the Timberwolves, and he's going to be out multiple weeks. So that injury is going to affect them. Do the Nuggets still have a chance? I would say it probably has a 2% chance of winning this series if they come back. I do not see it happening. It goes back to Ayo scoring, 40 points in last night's game. Gobert has just been a defensive monster. I don't know if because he was, really not respected on the Defense Player of the Year voting. Maybe he's taking that and running with it. He wants to get to that next series against Wemby if the Spurs make it, wants to prove a point. Minnesota's on a different level right now. I don't see the Nuggets coming back to beat them. I think maybe the Nuggets could get one more game, but I think Minnesota does close it out in 6 now. Then you go to San Antonio and the Blazers. We'll get into that series here in just a little bit when we go into our Spurs Chisme talk. Pistons in Orlando. Orlando seems to just control this series, man. I know they're up 2-1. Pistons can bounce back in it. They are the number one seed. This is a toss-up for me right now. I obviously had the Pistons winning, I think, in 6 games when we started this. I don't know. It's a hard one to close to wrap your head around because the Magic, they did not look good. They had not looked good all season. They get into the playoffs via a play-in, and now they're just barn burners. They're making things happen. Paolo Banchero's playing good. Everybody's just playing good for Orlando. They're making, they're making shots, man. I mean, what can you say? And I mean, Detroit, one of the better teams in the league in the regular season, they look lost out there. They looked really lost. So we'll see how way that goes. Series is only 2-1 right now. Detroit could get the win in Orlando, get the shift back into Detroit, playoff home court advantage. So we'll see there. Raptors and Cavaliers. Again, I got the Cavaliers. I think the Raptors win in game 3. It's okay. I mean, we had the Cavaliers in 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken. So Raptors were going to get one game. Fully expect the Cavaliers to bounce back. Knicks and Hawks series tied at 2. Home court does end up going back to New York. So this is another series. I mean, the Knicks played again out of their mind in a 114-98, and it really wasn't even that close, to be honest with you, when the Knicks got rolling. So Josh Hart was phenomenal defensively. Karl Anthony Towns put up a triple-double. I believe it was, 20, 10, and 10. The Hawks kind of got punched in the gut there. We'll see what happens in game 5. Could the Hawks bounce back? I believe so. I mean, they proved that they can bounce back. Boston and Philadelphia. Boston looked very vulnerable these last 2 games. They did pull away in Philadelphia, but again, Philadelphia is showing their fight. They're showing that they can compete with Boston. So we're going to see how that series goes. But that's a little bit of a recap there. We'll get into the Spurs recap right now because why? Well, because it's Chisme time.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs, this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Dime, por favor.
All right, as you can see, the Spurs take a 2-1 series lead over Portland. They come away with a game 3 victory in Portland, 120-108, behind 33 points from Stephon Castle and also 27 points by Dylan Harper, a combined 60 points by both guys. Spurs fans, yeah, you were worried. I think everybody was worried in the building as Portland was up at halftime by, 2, 4, 6 points at halftime, if I'm not mistaken. Just didn't look good. We thought Scoot Henderson, I did say Scoot Henderson had a 30 piece. He ended up with 21 this past game. I was like, you're not going to get that same 30-point game from Scoot Henderson. He did start the game off very, very hot. Spurs started off very, very slow, but nonetheless, in that second half, they came out like barn burners, man. Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, guys that are always crapping on De'Aaron Fox. He finished the game with 18 points. Again, you got a lot of good production from your trio of guards. De'Aaron Fox made a key shot here and there towards the end of the game. Dylan Harper just took control of the game. And that's what you wanted to see. Dylan Harper, who was my number 1 guy in this past draft, who I had going number 1, regardless of who was at number 1. He was the number 1 for a reason. I mean, you've got a background. Your dad was one of the best two-way players in all of NBA basketball, in Ron Harper, championship guy. You have a brother who plays in Boston, who's an impact player for Boston. Dylan Harper grew up, in the game of basketball. And that's why I said, plus of what he was doing over at Rutgers and just his athleticism, his athletic prowess. I mean, Dylan Harper was that guy. If he's on any other team, he is your rookie of the year. If he's starting on any other team, he's rookie of the year. If he's in Dallas, he's rookie of the year. A lot of people had Con Knipple as better than Dylan Harper. No. Dylan Harper is not getting the love Because Dylan Harper is not a starter for San Antonio. You gave him 30 minutes. He gave you 27 and 10. And he gave you a game 3 victory. He was ready from day one. Absolutely ready from day one. Had him number 1 on my draft board. My draft board, if you guys remember, was Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, Cooper Flag. That was my top 3. I had Flag at 3. Flag's probably going to be your rookie of the year, obviously. But again, I had him at 3. If I redid the draft, I would go Harper, Flag, Ace Bailey. That would be my draft rankings now. I still believe Dylan Harper is better. And you're seeing it. He's making an immediate impact. From the moment he stepped on the court, he's been making an immediate impact from the Spurs. Off the bench. I mean, he did get a vote when it came to NBA Sixth Man of the Year. Shout out to Keldon, who ended up winning Sixth Man of the Year. But Dylan Harper's been making a difference from day one. He's proving to you why he belongs in the league. Portland, Scoot Henderson trying to make a statement, trying to, talk trash to Dylan Harper, backfired. It ain't happening. It backfired. Dylan Harper is not your average rookie. He came in damn near a seasoned vet. And he's proven it. How do we feel like he goes for today? I don't expect another 27, 30-point game possibly from Dylan, but I do expect around that 18, 19 point per game. He was already ready to play. He was already making a difference. But when Scoot Henderson decided to talk his ass, you woke up already a sleeping giant. You woke up a giant. One giant that was already making a difference for San Antonio. Now you just gave him that much more confidence. Congrats, Scoot. You probably made a huge mistake there. Because now he confidently is walking into game 4 knowing you can't do anything to him. Once he gets going, he gets going. MVP for game 3, you could point to Castle. But you got to give it to Harper. Stephon Castle was making play after play after play. He kept the Spurs steady. But when they needed to get over the hump, they relied on a rookie who's not a rookie, who's a seasoned vet. His rookie campaign, it ended probably within the first couple of months. He was already a veteran after that. So again, for everybody that doubted the Spurs in game 3, I saw y'all out there on Twitter land complaining. Relax. There's 4 quarters in a game. Game's never truly over. Yeah, they may look bad. Oh, God, they're getting out rebounded. I would love to see another big in there. I was kind of taken back when I didn't see another big in there. I texted Spurs and Focus Zone Jeff Garcia and said, why are we not seeing another big guy in there to replace Cornette? He said he didn't know either. Well, maybe because Mitch Johnson lit a fire under Carter Bryant's ass after game 2. Because Carter Bryant's defense went up a notch. He played like a madman on defense. 3 blocks in that game. So you may get a little bit out rebounded, but as long as you stay poised, you stay calm, kind of what the Spurs have done all season, it shows. Even when they look like they're not going to win, they end up coming out on top. That's your show for today, guys. Appreciate everybody that has joined us here today. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the Sports Answer, the Sunday Sports Show, Sports Answer, the Friday Drive Show, and also Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia. Again, Salem Surround 210-526-3635 for all your digital marketing needs. You want that brand to be number 1. You want to be the difference maker. Call them today. Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Whenever you have those sports questions, remember, we have the sports answers here on the Sports Answer. See you guys next week.
You've been watching The Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. Salem Surround is proud to be San Antonio's premier digital marketing agency, offering a wide array of services like digital audio, email marketing, online reputation management, SEO, social marketing, and more. Visit salemsurround.com, San Antonio, and stay in the game.